This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Craig Foster, the CEO of Ondo Insurtech. Well, hello, Craig. Thank you very much for joining us again. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, good to talk to you again.
Well, thank you much for coming on with us this morning. Of course, the company announced recently that they've raised money through a placing, raising £815,000. And this was actually came about from an approach, didn't it, from a TR1 shareholder that kind of instigated this raise. So can you give a bit of context around this?
Yeah, sure. So there was a particular TRN shareholder that's been very supportive of the team and of the company throughout the last year, and they consistently kind of suggested to us that if there was ever a point where we need working capital, that they would be happy to help. We didn't really have any desire or need to do that, especially when the share price was underwater versus the original RTO price. But they made the same person made more of a specific offer more recently, and we discussed it with the board and thought actually it might make sense at this moment in time. Firstly, as we've seen the positive share growth on Ondo recently, so we're back above the original listing price, but also investors have already seen the deals that we've announced and the things that we've been working on recently, such as things like the rollout in Sweden with Lancer Schaffringar. We've talked about some of our ambitions over in the United States. So given the things we've already announced, given the things that we have yet to announce that we're working hard on and the plans that we've got looking over the next 6 months to a year, it actually made a lot of sense right now that extra working capital enables us to get ready for the growth that we foresee on the horizon when it comes to manufacturing devices and just getting ready for some of those initiatives and deployments.
Okay. And was all the money raised from the TR1 shareholder, or was some of it part of a general market placing? And of course, as well, the directors took part as well, didn't they? So can you break down sort of how the placing was executed? Yeah,
sure. So there was a specific offer from a TR1 shareholder. And then we thought, well, if we're going to do that, we'll offer the same terms to a very tight list of existing shareholders. So it was actually oversubscribed. And a few of the board have participated as well. The chairman, Mark Wood, Andy Morrison, non-exec director, our CFO, has taken part of the offer as well. But it was to a relatively tight list of existing shareholders.
Okay. Well, I notice your comments from the RNS, the last line there, the funds raised will give us additional firepower to accelerate client developments and to continue the rapid scaling of the business. Which sounds very good, but can you be a little bit more specific on what you might be focusing the recent funds on?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we are always managing is, to some degree, we look like a SaaS business from year 2 onwards because we've got recurring cash flows from the deployments. Part of the challenge that we've got as a business is that when we first deploy the units, we've obviously got to manufacture the actual hardware, the sensors. So the working capital is really helpful, just making sure that we've manufactured the right volume for launches and we've got stock in the right locations. Now, obviously, I was in Sweden last week. I think we're seeing each other next week, Mark, so I can tell you more about the Swedish trip when I see you in person in London next week. But we've got a rollout happening over there. We've got aspirations, as we've mentioned before, in North America. So we need stock in different locations, and so there's a bit of working capital management with things like that. So it's really just to make sure we're set up, and I don't want our ability to scale to be the limiting factor of growth. Obviously, we're minded and motivated to grow the business as fast as we can. So this is a very helpful tool to have with that in mind.
Okay. Well, you are right. I will see you next Tuesday. I think the company are presenting, aren't you, at is it an open invitation for investors to come?
Yeah, that's right. So obviously, we've added a lot of new shareholders recently, and our broker SI Capital set up an event in London for us, just an opportunity to meet more of our investors face to face. It's on Tuesday next week, I think. So you guys are going to be there as well. So looking forward to it.
Yes, I am in town anyway, so we are coming down to watch that presentation. And yes, we can have a sit down and a bit of a conversation about the company and the ambitious plans. But for today, thank you very much, Craig Foster, the CEO of Ondo Insurtech.
Thanks, Mark. Nice to see you, and see you next week.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.